All right, y'all. This is a special edition again to Minding Your Biz. This is Beyonce special. Okay, we on this good old Beyonce internet for this episode of Minding Your Biz. All right, so as you know, or you may not know, depending on where you are, Beyonce was here in Atlanta for 4 days and she gave us an amazing show. I went, yes, because I'm a part of the Beehive. I go to every Beyonce show, amen. But there are a few things that had people in a little kerfluffle, and I am one of them, okay? The Queen Bee, she gave an amazing show. She talked, this show, the Cowboy Carter, hence my hat, amen, and my paraphernalia, hello, was country, all country. And there, of course, there was an issue with her, like, oh, she not country. She just a black girl singing, as if we didn't invent country, as if it didn't come from us, our struggles, our stories. Amen. And she from Texas. Like, how more country can you get? Like, what part should she, like, she from Texas. I don't care if you in the north part of Texas. Anyway, if you say I'm from Texas, that's country. I'm originally from Philadelphia, and that's how we would say anybody. But Maryland, we might call you country. We might say you country if you live in Maryland. Amen. So she's country, and she did a full country album with all its fullness and grandeur and hats and chaps and fringes. It was amazing. However, dramatic pause for a reason. 2 nights, I went to the second night, and we didn't get any Jay-Z. Okay? Jay-Z came and appeared nights 3 and 4. Amazing. Tore it down. I've seen B and J on the Run tour, so I am an avid fan. However, B rarely does any guest appearances because she could do the show herself. Amen. She don't need anybody. But it's nice when you see the family. B, that wasn't right to do Atlanta like that. It wasn't right. It wasn't right. And that's all I'm going to say about that. Okay, you still my girl. And I'm waiting for the rock album. Okay, I like what's going on here. She going to get her a rock. Is there a Grammy for the rock? Can you get do they still even do a rock album at this point? Who is still in rock and roll? She need to come and revive it. Amen. Who is still considered rock and roll today? Who is it? Y'all let me know in the chat. Who is still considered rock? I'm asking, no, for real. Like, I know they transitioned to soft rock and pop rock. What's now considered rock? She gonna come back and tear up. She reviving music for y'all. Y'all just don't know. Amen. Y'all just don't know. Okay, so something else, right, happened here in Atlanta. They call them the YNs. They say the YNs. Amen. The YNs done broke into one of her lead choreographer's cars. He was at Publix, and he had some stuff, paraphernalia in his vehicle, right? Bags, tapes, recordings, those are types of things. He was in Publix, and he had some other dancers with him, and someone stole the car. With the car had the other things in there, right? It had mixtapes, choreographies, music, and things that she was going to use for the shows coming forward. So people were like, that's crazy. Why do you have that? And then I hear some parts in the Black ecosphere that I didn't even know was a thing, that they did it on purpose because she's supposed to pay her dues and tell that she was coming to the city. Did you hear that, Chris? That's crazy.
She didn't check in?
They're right. She didn't check in. I didn't even know check-in was a thing. I was like, are you serious? Are we? Wait a minute. They was like, she ain't check in. So I had to then deep dive and go down a rabbit hole of what are we talking about checking in? Oh, well, she comes to when a celebrity or musician or somebody, or I don't know, when they come to your city, you're supposed to check in. Now, is there a green book for that? Or who are you checking in with? Amen. Who is it? Is that known somewhere? Is that on ChatGPT? Help me. Who is she supposed to check in with? She is Beyonce. Giselle knows. Who is she supposed to be checking in with? And just in a broader conversation, I'm supposed to be checking in with Y'all broke ninjas, you don't even own the blocks you on. Who am I? I got more real estate than I'm Beyonce. And I'm supposed to check in with you. Y'all YNs, I'm supposed to check in with y'all. Help me, people help me understand this concept on checking in and what that means. That can't be, like, I'm really lost in that. Like, I feel like it's a street gang situation or drug situation, and they're trying to make it into a everything situation. Apparently, there's a quality insurance issue, because I have gone to cities and ain't nobody check in. Okay, there's people coming here who make money who is not checking in. Y'all got to keep it tight. Then y'all got some leaks because the people ain't checking in. I think that's just an asinine argument. I'm sorry, YNs, if y'all offended, baby, but y'all got to pick another struggle. Pick another leg to stand on. Don't stand on that one. Please don't stand on that one. That woman shouldn't have to check in nowhere. She is a black entertainer who brings millions of dollars to this city by selling merch, hotels, food, all the things when she comes to town. And you mean to tell me she got to check in with y'all broke ninjas? Who is, okay, anyway, I digress. Get them people back their music and their stuff, okay? You know, focus on that. But in the spirit of Texas, we're going to shift it. We're going to move it right along, you know, all things political. It's business. We minding all the business, okay? So just to double back, make sure when you come to Atlanta, you check in, amen? I don't know who y'all checking in with, but mind your business in that manner. Find somebody. Ask chat. I should ask chat right now with Siri. Who you checking in Atlanta? Ask the folks. Okay. Moving right along. Texas, with Greg Abbott's self, is saying he is going to gerrymander more districts in his state. Now, for some of you who aren't familiar with gerrymandering is, I'm going to pull it up on this here, Google. And it means to manipulate the boundaries of an electoral constituency so as to favor one party or class, right? By manipulating the boundaries of an electoral map, right? So it's basically manipulating the boundaries so that one political party is in their favor, right? You pack one. You pack one group into area to dilute their impact, their vote, right? So let me rephrase this so I'll make sure you guys understand what I'm saying. So when people talk about gerrymandering, what they mean is that on this particular issue is Republican from the top to the bottom, has Republican governor, state assembly, courts, all the way down. He's saying, hey, based on the issues that we're having, and I hear the rumblings in the country, we probably need to gerrymander more red districts. What that means is they're going to carve out and in the already red district, make them smaller so that those districts can have more political power. So right now, they want to pick up 5 more seats. So they're going to take an already red district and cut it up and make more districts. And say, okay, well, then they need a representative. They need a representative. Donald Trump says, I need 5 more. Now, what they do on the Democratic side is that they'll take the same total population and say, oh, they only need 1 representation, 1 representative, or 2 representatives, right? Okay. So gerrymandering, good, bad, or indifferent, is not a good thing. And it also creates more partisan divide, right? Instead of cutting them up in grids regardless, so that you have blue and red in your district so that the representative can compromise. He could try to fit both needs, but they continue the fighting so that we can stay like this. You understand? So gerrymandering is the manipulating the map to favor one party over the next. But in this situation, it is to favor the Republicans. Carve up our red districts even more to give us more power so we can send them to the White House. So Gavin Newsom said, okay, I got one better for you. I'm going to do it in California. Amen. I own California and blue runs it. Democrat from the top to the bottom. He said, well, I'm going to do the same thing. So what y'all think? Do we fight fire with more fire? Or when they go low, we go high, Michelle Obama style? I think we've kind of pushed that away, Michelle. I think these folks is diabolical. And we got to fight fire with more fire. Amen. So I'm here for it. I'm here for it. Gavin Newsom, let's go. Who next? What other blue states we have? Let's go. Let's go. Why would we sit back and watch the deceit and the stealing and the manipulation happening and go, dag, look at them. They so bad. They so wrong. Look how they do us. And knowing that we also have the power to do it. Joe Biden should have even stacked the Supreme Court. You see where we are, right? When he had the House, we had both sides and he could stack and expand the Supreme Court. He should have. He should have. And we wouldn't be here. Amen. So do we gerrymander or not? Do we play this highbrow game? Or do we get down and dirty and gutter with them? I say we do it. I say we get in the mud and wrestle right with them. Let's go. Our democracy is on the line. We cannot play no more games. We're here. We can't play no more games. Amen. I say, what blue states do? Michigan, Massachusetts, Connecticut, Jersey is but Jersey's blue state. Pennsylvania, purple. Let's go, Pennsylvania. Let's go. Colorado, I think, is blue. Let's go. Gerrymander. Let's go. Carve it up. Carve it up. Let's see what we're going to do. So there's that. All right. Next. Here we go. Top 4 worst builders. According to Yahoo Finance, they did a survey. They looked at the survey. They also looked at the Better Business Bureau. So these are the top 4 worst builders. And I'm saying this is just going to lead me into another story, right? Research these builders when you're buying homes, right? Sometimes we get really excited. It's our first home. This happened to me. This is me. Okay. I was excited. I'm saying we, but it was me. I was excited. You buy your first home. You're not really thinking about the craftsmanship and the quality of the stuff, right? You're assuming that people are building you a home of quality. Amen. I assume that. I'm saying we, but it's me. I'm assuming when I buy a home that it is of good quality, that my roof, my floors, my HVAC, my lighting, my plumbing is of good quality. Because I didn't go to like Brother Man and get a fix and flip house. I went to a builder that I thought was reputable. Amen. You got to research, because I bought my house right now is from one of these people and I've had issues, and I will share. So first, top worst builder, Clayton Homes. Clayton Homes specializes in modular manufacture prefab homes. Probably like, and they have a 1.8 star rating, and they have a 1.44 on the Better Business Bureau. Not good, okay? They said bad plumbing, bad customer service, that the warranties that they're giving you are like a nothing burger, that they do not, like when you call them out and they're having issues, the people aren't showing up, or they're giving you the runaround of how they cannot support or warrant the warranty, right? Crazy. Number 2, D.R. Horton. I went special in my heart because I have a D.R. Horton home. And we had some issues. Amen. We'll talk about it later. Okay. Bad customer service, bad contracting. The homes aren't of good quality. That the plumbing, the HVAC is having an issue, and even more, right? They have a 2 thing. The preferred mortgage lender that they push you with, right? So they might say, hey, we'll give you $5,000 towards closing if you go with the preferred lender, which is their lender, right? Just predatory lending, higher interest rates, really tricky terms in that regard. Not good. 1.3 1.3 on the Better Business Bureau, and not great customer service. Number 3 is Lennar Homes, 1.2 on the Better Business Bureau. Okay. And these are top builders in the country worldwide. The number 1, the largest builder is D.R. Horton, mind you. So number 3, Lennar Homes. Plumbing is bad. People say that the fabrics, the materials that they're using are really subpar, not good, and they're not warranting the warranties. They're not, when people call and say, hey, I have an issue with my electrical, my this or that, they're not working. And the contractors, the subcontractors they send out are rude and trying to get money from them, even though this stuff is covered in the warranty. Number 4, the last one is Pulte or Pult, P-U-L-T-E. I'm not sure if I'm saying that right. Pulte homes. Basically, this one was expensive homes that use really shitty materials. They're like, hey, they're charging people, $400,000, $500,000, but using like really low grade materials, right? Several lawsuits. They have one for $78 million in Florida for bad stucco that's cracking, allowing so bad mold and weeds. We're growing in there. So I'm going to say this. My own experience with D.R. Horton, we had a D.R. Horton home. We have a 6,000 square foot home. It's an HVAC unit on every floor. The moment we moved in there, 30 days later, we had issues with HVAC, full stop. We were the first owners. I was like, is this how home ownership should go? We just moved in here. Why are we having it? I'm confused. And at the time, they were like, oh, it's under warranty. And I was like, okay, that's great. The people would come out and they're like, oh, it's what's the thing that go on the wall, Chris, that changes the temperature? The
thermostat.
They were like, oh, it's the thermostat. We got to change the thermostat. The wires aren't talking. I'm like, but it's a new home. This stuff is new. How are we having an we right? It's not like it's an old home. It's been there for 30 years. It's new. We're the first people. It was the sales center. We were so excited because we're buying our first home we didn't even research the builders. Of course, we get in the home. I go that good free place, Google. Here go all the issues that they were having. Never did any research. Please, when you buying a home from builders, research. I love my home. I till today, but literally I have to change my second floor unit as we speak. Issues with the electrical, and literally we called someone and they're like, who is this home, D.R. Horton? Oh yeah, we've had issues with them. Their subcontractors are subpar. So basically how building goes, right? Unknowing to me, huge contractors, they buy land, they put out all the initial costs, and then they subcontract out to the lowest bidder. And sometimes they get subsidies. We talk about that socialism. They get subsidies for building in certain areas, right? You may have heard of some of them, right? They get tax incentives, or they'll get land less expensive and they'll get a tax abatement. But then they subcontract out to different builders. And then the builders, right, they'll say, I do drywall, I do concrete work. Then they subcontract, right? So the people at the top sometimes don't even know what's happening at the bottom. They're just trying to keep the cost low as possible so they can get the highest profits. And so you have to do your research. I am guilty of this because I didn't do any research. I was like, oh, it's a home. I was thinking that the consumer protections, that I was buying a good home. I thought that those federal protections in place would help me get a new home. And I was like, oh, it's under warranty. It's under warranty. Yeah, well, when the warranty is done, no one's answering the phone, right? No one's like, but I'm a homeowner. And I'm like, hey, this is crazy because I had issues with this in the beginning. And, it's unfortunate. People put in a lot of their hard-earned money into buying their first home and they're taken advantage of from the gate. And it's unfortunate. And that these builders are still continuing to grow and build all across the United States without penalty, without anything stopping them. And they continue to go. And there's lawsuits, there's fines, and all they do is change the name. D.R. Horton is now called, what's the
Rockhaven?
Rockhaven. One and the same. So they just rinse and repeat.
And word to the wise, if you are buying a new build, from any company, especially these, get a private inspection done.
Yes, private inspection, because everything is in-house. So it could be stuff wrong with your home and they'll be like, oh, just give us a clear to close, do the check marks and we're good to go, right? And it's unfortunate, but us as a consumer, you gotta dot your I's and cross your T's in every situation, everything you do. Nobody's got your back. Nobody. And you got to press forward. You got to go, wow. And so it's unfortunate that that's where we are, because I'm still having issues with my HVAC today. I just got a roof replaced, but I've been in my house for 12 years, so I wasn't too mad. I'm like, okay, there was no leaking the first 10 years. It still wasn't leaking now. It was just time, right? So I'm not, too upset about that, but I definitely had an HVAC issue that I'm completely irritated about. But there's that, right? So top 4 worst builders: Clayton, D.R. Horton / Rockhaven, Lennar, Pulte Homes. Do your research. If they move in your neighborhood and you see those signs going up and you're like, oh my God, those houses look so nice. Do your research. Impress them. Make sure a lot of that stuff is done. Get your own inspection done. All right. Next, we're moving right along into inflationary stuff, right? Talking about homes, talking about Texas, talking about things. Texas has a pretty good moderate affordability. Their homes haven't gone up too much versus where we are here in Metro Atlanta. But all across the board, there is affordability problem, especially in most westernized countries. The cost of living, people are feeling the pinch, right? There was a recent report, even in Italy, that the Italians were like, I don't even want tourists to come. It's causing our way of life to increase so much because the owners, the people want to make the profit off the tourists. And so they keep increasing apartments, homes, our expenses when we want to go and eat. This is our backyard, and they're increasing it for the tourist dollars and just because they can. So, they were boycotting Jeff Bezos when he had his wedding there. France, they're having all across Western countries, right? France is having an issue. They were boycotting, saying that when we go to the Louvre as Parisians, we can't even get in. We can't even enjoy it. And it's super expensive. They also have an affordability problem with home pricing, utilities going through the roof. And of course, right here in our own backyard in the United States, we're having a very similar issue, right? Across the country, your cost of living has increased and gone through the roof. And so there's 2 questions here we need to ask ourselves, right? And when we talk about affordability, I'm talking about a few things: utility, your home, and your food. Okay. So the food part of it, right? Every year, there's things called inflation that increases these things. And for years, you're like, okay, well, we'll just, we'll have to build in for inflation. We'll say 3% is the average inflationary rate. And then I had to really think about, well, what is inflation, right? Inflation is the increased amount of what something is going to cost you. But why is the cost going up? That's the real question. Why are my utilities going up? Why is food more expensive? And when you peel back all the layers of BS and minutia, you realize there's a person, an entity, or a corporation standing there. Amen. It's not a machine. It's not AI. It's not like this unknown thing. There's people there who are increasing the price because they want to make more money, even though supposedly we've moved into a modernized world. We've moved into machinery, AI, where things are supposed to be more efficient and effective. So it shouldn't cost you more money, but it's costing me more money. So help me understand why inflation is even a thing, for real. Like, not what the economists are telling us. Oh yeah, what's the 3%? That's how it goes. And because during COVID, inflation was 1 point. I'm going to pull it up because I do have my numbers. Inflation was really low. Inflation in 2020 was 1.3%. 21, it went to 5.9. So help me understand the difference in that. In 2022, it went to 8.7%. So what is causing inflation? It's people. To me, it's corporate greed. And people like, oh, you just want to demonize the corporations. I do, because those are the people making money. Those are the people increasing the prices of food. Those are people increasing your rent going up. Let me see, the annual percent of change. Let's move on to something else, because I wanted to bring this out to make my point that the increase in our cost of living is connected to the people who own those things. It's not an imaginary number, right? How do you get the inflationary number? Well, the Fed goes to different parts of the world, and they go to the country. They go to the stores and they mark how much something costs. It's real. They go to Publix and they say, well, how much is the giant family size of Cheerios today, January 1, 2025? And then they go back 3 months later and another 3 months. And the rate that it increases is how they calculate inflation. So my cost is going up, but why? Why is that? Kellogg's first of all, you're laying off people and you're automating, you're bringing in robotics. You don't have to pay the robot. You laid off 5 and replaced them with a robot and a handler. So that should have saved you money. That should help save all of us money. Your utilities bill, that's the next one, cost of living. Utilities that are investor owned. This year, state of Georgia asking for a 9% rate increase. The average is 3 to 5. Georgia Power is asking for 9%. That's a person who says yay or nay. It's not a machine. It's not AI. The person could say nay. They could say, no, you cannot have a rate increase again. No. That's a full sentence. They could say no. And then there would be no inflation on your utilities. See how that goes? Now the company can be sad and say, we wanted to make more money for our investors. So then they'll say, well, if we can't get a rate increase, we're going to lay off more people. Well, y'all going to lay off people anyway. We have to, in this country, start to think about people over profits. If you keep gutting and taking every nickel and dime from your middle class, you will not have one. And maybe that's the purpose. Maybe the purpose is not to have a middle class. It's not to have people who can run and have their own business. It is so that a few companies own everything. It is so that there are 4 companies who own electric utility companies. It was called Bell South in Philadelphia up north, called Georgia Power here. It's the same entity. It's the same investor group. So they have a monopoly on themselves. And then they say, well, there's no competition in this world of capitalism. It is rigged totally. So when people say it's inflation, well, who is the person behind inflation? It's like the Wizard of Oz. Who's the person behind the curtain? Because it is someone back there. And we have to stop pretending like, it's a gradual thing that has to happen. They're increasing it 3% every year on purpose so they can make more money every year. But your salary stays the same. They're not paying you more money, are they? No, they're not. They're not giving you free health care, are they? No, they're not. They're not giving your kids better education, are they? No, they're not. We can't even get clean water. We on literally a boil advisory every other month. Can't drink the water. You can't even drink the bottled water. They lying about the bottled water. Okay. I am going to. So then we fell for. We're like, okay, we're going to now buy bottled water. Then they started researching and testing the bottled water and found that the bottled water was from the faucet, from the spigot. You are packaging and selling me the same water from my faucet that you said wasn't good enough. Lord help us. Anyway, so affordability and inflation, right? The person behind the mask, the person behind the curtain, that's the real issue with inflation. It's not immigrants. I know they told y'all that story. It's the immigrants who are making everything just astronomical. They are sucking up the resources. The poor immigrants, they've been demonized for the past 10 years. Amen. Now, come with me. I'm not finished. Think about inflation. Think about how your cost of living is increasing, right? We talked about utilities, food, and home. And I just talked about the top 4 home builders were sucky. So they're not even giving you good quality homes. Amen. Okay. And anyway, let's move on. Utilities, home, and food. Those are things that are going to go up every year, supposedly, because inflation is built in. They say 3%. Okay. No problem. But then they say, no, it's inflation, but it's also because the people who are sucking up the resources. It's the immigrants who come in here and take your jobs and take your resources, and we have to pay for them. And then it takes away from your pot. So we're going to deport them. We're going to get them out of here. We're going to kick them out. And then some of you are like, yeah, let's get them out. Okay. But then what happens? What happens? That's lost revenue. There's lost work, right? What happens to your bills? Did inflation go down? Did anything go down since the deportation raid started? Did anything go down? It did not. I'm going to just already tell you. I'm not even going to pause for a dramatic effect. It did not. I know DT over there saying gas is $1.99, but it's not. He's lying. Okay? He's lying. Some of y'all have to understand the people in the Wahiti tribe be lying. Okay? Not all. Most, they be lying. That's what we say. They be lying. So he's lying. Gas is not $1.99 nowhere in these United States of America. And if it is, y'all tell me in the chat. If I may be wrong, maybe somewhere deep down in a town, I don't know. It could be $1.99, but the majority of gas in this country is not below $2.50. Amen. So $1.99 where? I don't think it's below $3. I was giving them, I don't think it's below $3. Y'all tell me where you are and how much gas is in your state. I know mine is $3.26. What you think, Chris? Where you at for gas?
That's about right.
Okay.
That's about right.
Yeah.
That's my birthday too, so good number.
Okay, 326. Let's go. So y'all tell me, where has any of these things, right? Utilities, home, and food have gone down since the deportations have started. Since they have started. Okay. All right. So let me see. Last issue. I'm just going to throw this out here. This is going to be a 2-part series. I'm just going to just throw this out and tease a little bit because it gets a little heavy. I feel like I want to talk about it again, but the cowboy hat and my Beyonce shirt is really not allowing me to have a real serious conversation with y'all, but I'm going to try. So there is a drug problem in this country, as we know, right? Fentanyl is killing the folks. They say the YNs is selling it or snorting it or doing something with it. I don't know too much about fentanyl, amen. I am not a drug connoisseur, so please forgive me if I'm getting some of this language wrong, amen. So they say the YNs is selling it, is hitting everywhere, is urban and suburban. It's all over. They putting it inside of the all the stuff. They lacing it and putting it and dipping it and doing it. I don't know. Okay. People is dying and doing all the things. It's not a good thing. Okay. They say it's coming from China. Amen. They said it's coming from China. That's why we got to put these tariffs, and it's coming through Mexico and the cartels. That's why we got to impose that was the initial law. I'm just going with the initial law, y'all. The initial law, we had to put all these tariffs on Mexico is because they're loose at the border, and the cartels are bringing in the fentanyl and the drugs and the human trafficking. And then they was trying to get Canada up there. They even said, poor Canada, your borders is loosey-goosey too. All the drugs is coming in here because y'all not doing what y'all supposed to do. It's all of y'all. I keep bringing in all the drugs, all the fentanyl, all the drug trafficking, all of the stuff. Y'all just keep putting it in, and this is ruining us. And then I go, well, if there was no demand, maybe there wouldn't be a supply. If there was no demand for drugs, there was no demand for sex trafficking and underage women and immigrant labor. If there was no demand, maybe there wouldn't be a supply. We have an alarming demand for drugs in this country. Full stop. Right? The cartels in Mexico and all over fight to have jurisdiction to sell us drugs because we like drugs, apparently. I'm just saying it. I don't like drugs. I'm not a drug person, but I am one of billions of people here in this country. Apparently, we got a drug problem. We've always had one. Probably since when is the disco era? The 50s? I mean, we went through cocaine, we went through the crack epidemic, we went through the opioids. Now we're in fentanyl. I don't know what this is called. Apparently, we got a drug problem that most countries do not have now. I don't know if there's a fentanyl problem in Mexico. The people strung out. I don't think they're fighting to get into Mexico. I don't think they're fighting to get into Brazil and Panama and Africa and China. How about the Middle East? Australia, Finland, I don't think they have the problems we have with drugs in that way we have in this country. We got to heal us. It's something inside us that all of these things are pouring into our country that's causing the things that are causing in this country. We got the problem. Then you think about the human traffic of the problem. The business owners that are like, hey, I'm going to get you this I-10, you can come work for me, and I'm going to pay you $4 an hour. Now, whose fault is that? Is that the Mexican, the Haitian, the African? Whose fault is that? Because the business owner says, I have a need and you fit the need and I'm gonna pay you. They could hire the American person a living wage and say, hey, I'm going to pay you $20 an hour. Instead of the people coming across the board and paying them $4 and still charging me $7 for an apple or something, whatever that is. You understand? It's not even balancing. I feel like people wouldn't even mind if I could still get some fruit and vegetables for $20. So the problem is y'all got cheap labor, but you still charging me American made in USA prices. That's the real problem. It's the greed hand over fist. Like you're greedy. You're like, we're going to get this cheap labor and we're going to charge you American made prices. And that's not cool. That's the problem too. Right? So we got a problem. As Beyonce would say, America, we have a problem. Bringing it back to my girl B. Okay. So we're going to close it out. Y'all let me know. Oh, they told me to work here in these spots. So I'm on my own now. So I'm going to have to go over here. Thank you, Chris. All right. So we're going to close it out. Thank you for this special edition of Minding Your Biz, where it's all things business, politics, and anything that's out there in the ethos. Okay. Don't forget to like, share, tell a friend to tell a friend. Leave something in the comments. Let me know you were listening, respond, a little call and response. Amen. You say amen. All right. So we peacing out, y'all. Don't forget to keep minding your biz.